Chloe, you need to sit down for this. The story my friend Minju told me, it's not just a messy drama. It's a long, bizarre story about how far a woman will go to get the one thing she needs to end her world or save it. Proof. The main character is a woman in her early 30s. Let's call her Minna Choi. She had what looked like the perfect life, a loving husband, an adorable elementary school-aged son. On the surface, it was a solid, happy family. She thought her life was a fortress, never imagining a tiny crack could bring the whole thing down. The crack started small. For a few months, her husband started coming home late. At first, she thought, he's working hard for us. But then she smelled a strange woman's perfume on his shirt. Then she found a receipt from a fancy restaurant in his car after a weekend he supposedly went hiking with friends. The suspicion started to build, this fog that filled their house. She was losing her mind. She told me she tried to confront him once, quietly. Ani, is there someone else? He just rolled over in bed, annoyed. What are you talking about? Are you going crazy? Don't be so paranoid. He gaslit her. And that's when she decided, okay, this isn't just suspicion anymore. I need evidence. Real, undeniable proof. A few days later, checking their credit card statement, her eyes landed on one line item that made her heart stop. M Motel 75,001. It was a Muintel. One of those unmanned motels where you check in with a machine for privacy? Total affair spot. She knew this was it. But a credit card charge wasn't enough. She needed to prove who he was with. She needed an official witness. So she came up with this insane high-stakes plan. She walks into a police station in Gwangju, looking as distressed and pathetic as she can. With a shaky voice, she tells the officer, I think my credit card was stolen. I think I know who did it. The officer asks who, and she names the woman she found out about, a woman she knows casually, an acquaintance. Her performance was Meryl Streep worthy. She said, I know where she used my card. It was at this motel on the outskirts of town. Please, can you just come with me to check the CCTV? I'm too scared to go alone. The police, seeing a simple open and shut theft case, finally agreed to go with her. She said the 15-minute ride to the motel in the police car felt like an eternity. What if I'm wrong? Then I'm just a crazy woman who filed a false report. But at the same time, she was praying, please let them be there. She wanted the agonizing uncertainty to end, even if it meant her world had to explode. They get to the motel and go to the manager's office. The officer asked to see the security footage from a few days ago. As the manager rewinded the tape, Minha squeezed her eyes shut. Then she heard the officer's quiet voice. Ma'am, is this the woman you filed the report against? She slowly opened her eyes. On the grainy black and white screen, her husband was getting out of his car, holding hands with the acquaintance, smiling as they walked into a room. And the smile on his face, it was a happy, relaxed smile he hadn't seen directed at her in years. In that moment, a cold wave of relief, the relief of knowing, and a burning wave of despair crashed over her. She played her final card. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing. Yes, that's her, with my husband! Her performance was the perfect finale. The police were convinced she was the victim, and the CCTV footage became the official, undeniable proof of the affair she needed. But the story doesn't end there. A few days later, the police called her back in. An older veteran detective had noticed the inconsistencies in her story, especially how she knew the exact time and place of the theft. He questioned her quietly, and she confessed everything. The detective sighed and told her, I understand why you did it, but you can't use the police as a tool to settle personal scores. Since the old adultery law was abolished, we've seen more cases like this. We have to make an example of it. They charged her with obstruction of justice. In the end, she won her divorce case. She got the alimony, she got the custody of her son, but she also had to stand in court as a defendant and was fined for her crime. It's the irony of it all, isn't it? In her desperate search for the truth, she had to become a criminal to get it.